Hi guys, it's me Charlene. Today I'm going to show you how to make a nail polish rack or a paint rack. You need 3 of these. I think they're called foam boards. I'm not 100% positive on what they're called. Let's see if it says it. Foam board. Yeah. You need 3 foam boards. That's how we're going to start off, with 3 foam boards. This one I hope will work. It may not be the greatest because these came from the Dollar Tree and they're not as sturdy as the other ones. So I'm going to try to make it anyways. Besides the foam board, you're going to need a utility knife that is sharp and a ruler and a glue gun, a glue stick. And also one of your favorite colors of duct tape. I have 3 colors, but this time I'm going to do the pink. Okay, we're going to start off with it long ways. This is going to be your backboard. And lay it on the table, on the floor, the long ways. And you're going to take your measuring stick or your ruler, and you're going to mark it every 5 inches until the end of the board. It's all the way over here, and you can see where I have marked it. Maybe you can see, but basically it's like 5 and then 10, and then you move it over, and then 5, then 10, and then it should end with the 10. And what I would do is I'd go ahead and mark it on the other side. That way you can get an even line on the other side of your board, because you're going to draw a line going across. So go ahead and do your 5, every 5 on that side too. And still this way, we still got it the long way. Ignore the cat. She had to jump up here with me while I'm cutting this. But we still have it the long ways. And we're going to draw all the way across to connect to the other side of the board. We're going to draw from that side to this side, lines. And what I would do is I would go ahead and use one of your other boards. I would just go ahead and use it as like a ruler. That way you can get your lines straight. So I did all my lines going across every 5 inches, and you should end up with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. And I'm sorry you can't see it that well. Let me get down here closer. You see what I'm talking about? I just drew them all the way across. And if you hear my son in the background, just ignore him. He's playing a game. Okay, and the board that we just finished with the lines going across, we're going to put that on the side because that's going to be your backboard. Okay, now we have our new board. And on this one, we're going to measure across the same way we did the other board. That, the long way like that. We're going to measure over 2 inches, and we're going to go we're going to get 2 inches over, and then we're going to do 7 of these. So what I would do is I would just go ahead and mark it 2, and then 4, and then 6, and 8, and so on. And then when you get down to the 12, just go ahead and do another 2 inch, and that way you'll have enough. And go ahead and connect on the other side. Go ahead and measure them every 2 inches on that as well, so your line going across will be even again. And then when you get your 7 across, the 2 inches across, take your other board, one of your other boards, and use it to line up the lines on both sides. Make sure it's over here, your 2 inches, and over here you're 2 inches, and you draw your line again, and you're going to do 7 lines straight across. And I think when you use the board, you get a much easier line, because it's so much harder to use your ruler and go across. So I just prefer to do just use the other side of my board on another one of my boards. I hope that makes sense. Then you're going to take your utility knife and you're going to cut the lines straight down, each one of them, and you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You should have 7 strips when you're done of the 2 inches. And I'll tell you something about this. If you use one that's really good, brand new, sharp, I even got this at the Dollar Tree. And if you get one that's sharp, it does not have really jaggedy lines, and it usually cuts really smooth, because look, you start with your line up there and you just go down like this, and it cuts really smooth and straight. So you're going to end up with a smooth line, and your board's going to be very nice. It's not going to be jaggedy. So after you have this all cut, you're going to have 7 of these, which these are your 2-inch strips going across. So you're going to have 7 of those, and you put those aside. So now we're going to take the rest of the board and we're going to do 7 1-inch strips. So we're going to go basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 till we get to 7, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. That way we can, you know, use our ruler and do the line, and, you know, use your board so you can have a straight line going across. And we're going to cut that too, but it's going to be 7 of the 1 inches. We're going to do 1 inches. So do 7 of them. Then again, you use your board and you line them up. You line your little lines on each side, and you do your line going across, and use your board so you get an even line, and you're going to do 7 of these going across. And these are the 1 inch. And again, like we did on the other ones, we're going to cut each line straight down, and we're going to have 7 of those again, and these are going to be just 1 inches. And what I do is I take an old one of the old foam boards. I had one, so to protect my table, because I didn't want my table to get cut. So usually I'll put one of my old ones that I've had from something else. You need something underneath so to protect your table if you're doing it on the table. But you just take your your utility knife, and you do the line. You just follow the line, and be careful and don't cut yourself. And you just continue doing that, following the line. And I'll tell you what, I got this knife at the Dollar Tree, but it is very, very sharp, and it really works. It does the trick, because I had an old utility knife, and the first time I ever did this, I used it on the first one I did, and my boards were so jaggedy, whatever you want to say. But this one's pretty jagged. I mean, but this is a cheaper board. This is not the more expensive kind of board. I think it depends on what kind of board you use. This is just the Dollar Tree board, so it's not as good as, let's say, this type of board. I have another type, and this type is harder, and this is really what I would use. But I'm just doing this for a demonstration, so I'm just doing what I can. So yeah, it really helps if you have a sharp utility knife. And you just continue cutting these like I'm doing, and be careful and don't cut yourself. And then when you end up cutting all that out, you're going to end up with 7 1-inch strips. And then of course you have your other 7 2-inch strips. And then you're going to go to your last board. Then on this last board, you're going to lay it the long ways going in front of you. See what I'm saying? And you're going to measure over 2.5. You're going to do 2.5 just twice. So you're going to measure like 2.5, and then you're going to go over 2.5 again, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side, and then you're going to connect your lines as we did in the previous. But this one's going to be a little harder to connect the lines, so you may have to just slide your board up and to connect your line. You know, you draw from connect, and then we're going to connect both lines. We're going to end up with 2 of these, and these are 2.5. You want to have 2 2.5. And then we're going to take our utility knife, and we're going to cut each one straight down. We're going to only have 2 of these. Okay, so we're done with the cutting now, and we ended up with 2 of the 2.5, and then we have 7 1-inch, and then we have 7 2-inch. We're done with cutting. This part is kind of fun. You're going to need a pair of scissors, and you're going to need your favorite color of duct tape, and you're going to take the 1-inch strips on this, and let me show you what you're going to do. Hopefully this will be on video because my battery is going dead. You're going to pull your tape out just as long as your white little inch board, your 1 little inch board, and you're going to try so you're going to lay it down like that on the tape, and you're going to cut the tape right here, and then you're going to fold the tape over, kind of like you're wrapping that. Okay, now this is when you got your tape underneath and you've cut your end. Then you're going to fold these over as tight as you can. Make sure it's tight, because that way you prevent bubbles on the other side. And then you make sure it's tight on the opposite side. And here on the end, make sure you can see. Okay, what I do is I just fold it over like that. And sometimes I will cut just the corners and just cut them out. Cut a little strip off if they're sticking out too much, like that. Or I'll put a little bit of tape and keep them stuck down if they're not sticking very well. But usually, that's what I usually do. I'll just do that. But you can also add a little more tape if you want it to stick down a little more. But you do it on both ends. You fold both ends over. And my scissors are not the greatest, so on this one I have messed up. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get a piece of tape off of my duct tape and help might stick down some. My scissors are not good. I'm gonna have to switch my scissors. That is for sure. But so right here, fold it down, and that is what you're going to do. You're going to tape every one of your 1 inch. So just do all your 1 inch strips, 7 of your 1 inch strips. Do them exactly like I just showed you. That's the only ones you're going to tape. That's the only ones I would tape. I mean, you could probably tape it all if you want to, but that would just take a whole lot longer, and you're going to glue this anyways. You're going to hot glue it. So I would just stick with putting your tape on this, which I already see something I do not like. Make sure when you're doing your strips that you remove these. I made a mistake and didn't remove it, so I'm gonna have to take this off and redo it. But yeah, do all of your 1 inch strips with tape. So you're gonna make sure you taped all of your 7 1 inch strips. Make sure you tape them all. Now this is when you're going to get your first board that you had and you draw all those lines on it. You're going to get your board that I said was your backboard, and you're going to start heating up your glue gun. And this is where you start building your board. You're going to start heating up your glue gun, and you're going to get out your 7 your 7 2-inch strips. You're going to get these out, but you're going to only use one at a time. And what you're going to do is, with your hot glue, you're going to glue one side all the way down, and you're going to start from the very bottom right here, and you're going to line it up. I wouldn't go to the very bottom, go a little bit up from the bottom, so your last row is not going to be as tall as your others, but that's just the way I do it, because you don't need to put it on the very edge, because I mean that's easy to fall off. But just go up a tiny bit and glue it down. Hold it like that until it sticks. Make sure on both sides. I've only got one. I'm having to do the camera too, so it's kind of hard to show you. But what you're going to do is you're going to glue each one of your 7 strips. Glue up along the side, just like I was telling you. And after you get this one on, you're going to take your another strip. Just imagine this one being glued already. I'm waiting on my hot glue to get hot. It's not hot enough yet. And then you're going to glue this next one, and you're going to place it right on the lines that you had made earlier. And you're going to hold it there, and then you're going to let it stick. And then you're going to do it all up the board on every line that you did. And you're going to use every one of your 7 2-inch strips. You're going to make the board all the way up. And when I come back with the camera, you'll see what I'm talking about, because my glue gun should be hot by then. Okay, I glued each one on, so that's what it looks like now. And you may have to go into the cracks and stuff and glue it some more on each one. That's what I usually do, because I may not have cut the board flat enough, straight enough, and just extra gluing it, hot gluing it really will help. And if your glue gun is like mine, you may use a bunch of hot glue, because of mine is the worst hot glue ever, and I end up using a whole lot of hot glue because it seems to just not work that great, so I have to use a lot. So that is the process that we're at now, and next we'll be putting on the sides. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your the 2.5 strips that we had. We're going to put these on the sides. We're going to put these along the sides. So I turned it on its side, as you can see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hot glue each section or so, and I'm going to put as much as I can, because you're going to have to go really fast because glue dries so fast. And you'll definitely have, after you put this piece on and hold it on for a little bit, you're definitely going to have to go back over inside the cracks and crevices, like inside there, and hot glue it some more, and to make sure it's all secure. You're going to do it on this side and the other side. That was just on your 2.5 strips. And I'm going to go ahead and hot glue this on there, and I'm going to remove that sticker I see right there. So I don't even know if you got that part. I probably didn't record. But now we're going to take your 1-inch strips, and we're going to hot glue them up the middle, and we're going to place them on each one of these rows. And you're going to hot glue each one, press it down. You're going to do each one, and you're going to use all 7 of your 1-inch strips, and I will be back with what it looks like after that, and we'll be done. Okay guys, we are done. You just make sure all of those little strips are secure. If you needed to hot glue it some more, just go ahead, and you probably, like me, probably have some glue strings all over. If you do, just remove them. And I heard a helpful tip on Craft Wars, and she said to take a hair dryer and blow, and they magically disappear. So yeah, try that and see if it works. And the nail polish rack is done, and I will show you 2 more racks I have done. I've done one with paint, 2-ounce paint, and one with nail polish.